If you are a man over 60 and you have been swallowing zinc pills every night, hoping they will fix your blood flow, restore your confidence, or help you feel like the man you used to be, stop right now because what I am about to say may feel uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. Those pills may be the very reason your performance continues to decline. I have seen too many men sitting across from me, exhausted, embarrassed, feeling trapped inside a body that no longer responds the way it once did. They tell me the same story week after week. I take supplements. I follow the rules. I wait and nothing changes. The mornings are soft. The confidence disappears. Sleep becomes broken by bathroom trips. Intimacy turns into stress instead of connection. The worst part isn't the physical struggle. It is the quiet, invisible shame that accompanies it. But here is the paradox that almost no one understands. The problem is not your body and it is not aging itself. The problem is absorption. Zinc pills are largely ineffective for men over 50 because your body can no longer process them the way it once could. Yet, one simple nighttime combination of 3 natural nuts can rebuild circulation, repair arteries, and restore firmness within 24 hours of your first use. My name is Dr. Richard Bien. I am a physician and scientist who has spent decades studying how the body heals itself, how blood vessels regenerate, how tissue repairs, and how the right nutritional inputs at the right biological moment can reverse what aging has quietly taken away. Today, I am going to show you exactly how. Before we go any further, if you are serious about rebuilding your strength and reclaiming your confidence, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Everything I share here is designed specifically for men over 60 who refuse to accept decline as their destiny. And I want to hear from you. Type the number 1 in the comments if you are ready to take action starting tonight. Now, let's get into the science behind these 3 powerful nuts and why they work. 1. 3 powerful nuts that support sexual health. Circulation A and hormones. Most men have no idea how close they are to turning everything around. They spend years believing that decline is permanent, that once performance fades, it is gone forever. They stop expecting change. They learn to live without the strength, the pride, the physical presence they once carried effortlessly. But here is the biological truth almost no one dares to say out loud. The difference between feeling defeated and feeling alive again can come down to the most fundamental choices a man makes each day. Sometimes transformation begins not with a new medication or a higher dosage, but with something so basic and so ordinary that it feels impossible to believe it could matter. For decades, older men have been told that aging is the enemy, that weakening blood flow is inevitable, that the body stops responding after 60. And because they believe it, they stop fighting. They learn to conceal the truth behind excuses. They tell themselves they are tired, they are busy, they are fine. But late at night, in the silence of a dark room, they feel the reality pressing in, the growing distance in their marriage, the frustration of a body that will not respond, the quiet sting of pretending everything is normal when it is not. That silent pain changes a man. It steals something from him long before anyone else notices. I have sat across from men who appeared strong on the outside, but were breaking down piece by piece on the inside. Men who once woke up ready to face the world, now waking up afraid of what another morning without vitality means for their future. Men who whispered to me in trembling voices, "Doctor, am I running out of time?" But here is what they never expected to hear. You are not broken. You are not finished. You are not beyond repair. The problem is not your age. It is not your masculinity. It is not your willpower. It is that no one ever accurately explained to you how your body actually functions after 50. No one told you that circulation, hormones, and prostate health are 3 interconnected parts of the same biological system, and that strengthening one without addressing the others produces little result. No one told you that the body does its most critical rebuilding at night. And almost no one knows that 3 specific nuts used together at the right time can trigger the repair process your body has been waiting for. These 3 nuts are not popular because they are simple. They are powerful because they target the exact biological systems that collapse first with age. Hormone balance, arterial flexibility, and nighttime tissue recovery. They do not work by force. They do not work against your biology. They work with it silently while you sleep. And when they do, men who have been struggling for years begin to feel something they believed they had lost permanently. Response, strength, hope, nothing extreme is required. No dangerous compounds, no painful procedures, no expensive treatments, just a precise, timed nutritional shift in what you give your body before bed. Because when the right nutrients arrive at the right biological hour, the body remembers exactly what it was designed to do: 2 cashews. Most men have no idea that what they have been desperately searching for has been sitting on grocery store shelves their entire lives. They spend years pursuing complicated solutions, swallowing pills, waiting for results that never come, while overlooking one of the most biologically effective hormone-supporting foods ever studied. It sounds almost too simple, but the physiological truth is this. A single handful of cashews used correctly can do more for testosterone, blood flow, and nighttime repair than many of the synthetic supplements men have been consuming for years. Consider 2 men who came to me with identical complaints. Both exhausted, both frustrated, both convinced their best years were behind them. One had been taking zinc pills every night for months. Faithful and hopeful, the other made one change. He stopped relying on compressed tablets his aging digestive system could barely process, and began eating cashews every evening before bed. Within a few weeks, energy began returning. His mornings felt different. He woke up with a physical response he hadn't experienced in years. The first man felt nothing. Still waiting, still hoping, still disappointed. Same approach, same outcome. The difference between them was not genetics, luck, or youth. It was delivery. After 60, stomach acid dropped significantly. The digestive environment that once broke down almost anything you gave it no longer has that capacity. Hard tablets and compressed minerals pass through the body largely undissolved, wasted, unused. Every morning you take them with hope and feel nothing. The problem is not you. It is the mechanism by which you have been trying to help yourself. Cashews solve that problem by encasing zinc within natural healthy fats, delivering it inside a biological package the body immediately recognizes and absorbs without resistance. But zinc is only the beginning. Cashews contain arginine, an amino acid the body converts directly into nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for widening blood vessels and improving circulation precisely where it matters most. Men who experience weak or unreliable erections are not struggling with desire. They are struggling with blood flow. Cashews help reopen that pathway. They also provide magnesium, one of the most important minerals for lowering the protein that binds testosterone and renders it biologically inactive. When magnesium rises, testosterone is freed. Men feel stronger, more stable, more energized. And when all of this occurs during sleep, the biological impact multiplies. The body uses nighttime hours to rebuild what daytime stress depletes. Hormones reset. Arterial tissue repairs. Cashews feed that restorative system at precisely the hour when it is most receptive. That is why 15 to 18 lightly soaked cashews eaten before bed can shift the biological environment in ways that synthetic supplements never could. But as powerful as cashews are for hormonal support, they are only one piece of the solution, because strength means nothing if the blood cannot move effectively. And the next nut on this list has the capacity to transform circulation in ways most men never experience again after 60. 3 walnuts. There is a moment in a man's life when he recognizes that strength does not disappear all at once. It slips away quietly inch by inch in the silence of ordinary days. One morning you notice that what once happened naturally now feels uncertain. What used to rise with confidence now hesitates. What used to feel powerful now feels fragile. And the most painful part is not the physical change. It is the feeling of your identity shifting and the effort of pretending otherwise. But what if the key to rebuilding what you thought was fading is not a pill, a procedure, or a prescription, but something as fundamental as a walnut? I have watched this change men's lives, and the biology behind it is well established. For years, men have been told that erections are primarily a function of testosterone. But the physiological truth is that erections depend first and foremost on one thing: blood flow. Without strong circulation, without arterial flexibility, without healthy endothelial tissue lining the blood vessels, nothing else matters. You can take every supplement available, and it will not force blood through stiffened, aging arteries. That is why so many men feel let down by their own bodies. They are trying to produce fire without oxygen. They are attempting to solve a vascular problem with a hormonal answer. Walnuts change the equation. They are among the richest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids, nutrients scientifically demonstrated to restore flexibility and structural integrity to artery walls. They contain arginine, the direct precursor to nitric oxide, which signals blood vessels to relax and expand. And they carry powerful polyphenols and antioxidants that repair the damaged endothelial lining that inflammation and time slowly erode. When older men incorporate walnuts consistently into their evening routine, something biologically measurable occurs. Blood begins to move with greater efficiency. Warmth returns, sensitivity returns, response returns. I have seen men who believe they were past the point of recovery walk back into follow-up appointments with quiet confidence and say simply, "It is working," not because they found a pharmaceutical shortcut, but because they finally addressed the physiological root of the problem. Research examining men over 60 found that just 7 walnuts per day improved arterial elasticity by 64% within weeks. Imagine what that means for a man who has not felt fully present in his own body for years. Imagine waking up and feeling strength instead of disappointment. Imagine the quiet confidence of knowing you are back fully capable, fully yourself. This is not about vanity. It is about dignity. It is about how a man stands when he believes in himself again. Walnuts restore the biological foundation that performance, stamina, and vitality depend upon. But circulation is only the second piece of this system. Because even with strong blood flow, one more barrier stands between a man and the life he wants, the prostate. And the next nut holds the power to calm the prostate, restore deep sleep, and eliminate the nighttime disruption that quietly depletes a man's strength before morning arrives. 4. Pumpkin seeds. Most men never speak about it openly, but it destroys their nights, their energy levels, and eventually their confidence. I am talking about the exhausting cycle of waking up repeatedly to use the bathroom. The persistent pelvic pressure, the weak stream, the frustrating sense of incomplete emptying no matter how long you wait, and then the worst part, lying in the dark, knowing morning is only a few hours away, already fatigued before the day begins. It is difficult to feel vital when your own body interrupts your sleep and steals the energy you need just to function. Many men accept this as normal. They tell themselves it is simply part of aging, something every man must live with. But what they do not realize is that frequent nighttime urination is one of the earliest biological indicators that the prostate is inflamed, enlarged, or pressing against the urethra in a way that restricts urine flow. That pressure does not only affect sleep, it affects circulation, hormone balance, and sexual performance. A congested prostate can restrict the blood supply that erections depend on, leaving men confused about why nothing responds as it once did. Men blame their cardiovascular system, their testosterone, their stress levels. But in many cases, the underlying driver has been quietly developing for years. And here is what almost no one anticipates. The answer may be found in something so small and overlooked that most men walk past it in the grocery store without a second thought. Pumpkin seeds. Inside them is a compound called festosterol shown to block the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT, the hormone responsible for driving prostate enlargement. When deep levels fall, the prostate relaxes, the pressure eases, the bladder calms, sleep deepens, blood flow normalizes. Pumpkin seeds also provide magnesium in a highly bioavailable form, a mineral critically deficient in most older men. Without adequate magnesium, the muscles of the bladder remain in a state of tension, creating persistent urgency. With sufficient magnesium, those muscles relax, allowing the body to hold urine comfortably through the night. I have observed men transition from waking 4 or 5 times per night to sleeping 6 or 7 uninterrupted hours simply by incorporating a handful of pumpkin seeds before bed. And when sleep improves, everything downstream improves: mood, energy, hormone production, cognitive function, and sexual responsiveness. A genuinely rested man is biologically a different man. He moves differently, he thinks more clearly, he engages with life more fully. And that shift can restore relationships, reclaim dignity, and return a man to the life he believed was behind him. If cashews rebuild the hormonal environment and walnuts restore circulatory function, pumpkin seeds protect the structural foundation that makes both of those systems possible. They complete the biological picture. But knowing what to eat is only one part of the solution. The real breakthrough comes from how and when you combine them. And what you do in the final minutes before sleep determines how powerful your body rebuilds while you rest. 5. The 5-minute nighttime formula. There is a single window in every day that determines whether the body rebuilds or continues to deteriorate. Almost no one pays attention to it. It is not the morning. It is not during exercise. It is not at mealtime. It is the quiet space right before sleep, when the world goes still and your body begins preparing to repair the biological damage of another long day. For most men, that window passes without purpose: another night lost, another opportunity unused, another step further from the vitality they once had. And they wonder why nothing changes. But here is the physiological reality. Nighttime is not simply rest. Nighttime is active biological restoration. It is when blood vessel walls regenerate, when hormones reset, when testosterone is synthesized, when nitric oxide levels rise, when tissue repairs itself, when the nervous system recalibrates. But that process can only occur efficiently when the body receives the right nutritional fuel at the right biological moment. Without those nutrients, repair becomes incomplete. Without that support, the system falls further behind. That is why the same body that once felt powerful now feels heavy and unresponsive. That is why exertion no longer produces the same returns. The battle is not won in daylight. The most important biological work is done in the dark. Here is what the science confirms. Combining cashews, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds in the final minutes before sleep triggers a coordinated biological cascade that your body has been waiting to receive. Cashews deliver bioavailable zinc and magnesium to free testosterone and relax smooth muscle. Walnuts open the arterial pathways and elevate nitric oxide so blood can move efficiently where it is needed. Pumpkin seeds calm the prostate, quiet the bladder, and anchor deep sleep. Together, they form a synchronized nutritional system that shifts the body from a state of gradual decline into one of active repair. Men report waking after the very first night feeling something they had not experienced in years: warmth, fullness, strength, the unmistakable return of physical response. And with each successive night, the improvement compounds. The protocol requires no complexity, no special equipment, no significant expense. Simply soak the nuts briefly to soften them and enhance nutrient availability. Then eat 7 walnuts, 15 to 18 cashews, and a generous handful of pumpkin seeds within 30 minutes of bedtime. Sit in stillness. Allow the body to do what it was biologically designed to do. What happens next is not dramatic or sudden. It is quiet, private, and deeply personal. But when you wake in the morning, the body will speak clearly. It always does. 6. Synthetic zinc pills, are poorly absorbed in men over 50. Most men believe the solution to declining strength, fading performance, and diminishing energy is simply a matter of taking more. More zinc, more vitamins, more pills. They line bathroom shelves with bottles and consume them faithfully every morning and every night, waiting for something to change. But here is the physiological truth that most physicians never state directly, and that most supplement companies hope you never discover. For men over 50, synthetic zinc pills are often almost completely ineffective. Your body simply cannot absorb them. And every day you continue taking them, you are working against the biology that has already changed inside you. After the age of 50, stomach acid production drops dramatically. The digestive environment that once processed almost anything you consumed no longer has that capacity. Hard tablets and compressed synthetic minerals do not dissolve adequately in a lower acid environment. They pass through the gastrointestinal tract largely intact, unused, unabsorbed, contributing nothing to the systems they were supposed to support. I have looked men in the eyes who felt genuine shame, believing their lack of progress was evidence of something wrong with them personally. They would say, "I am doing everything I was told to do. Why isn't anything changing?" And I could hear the fear behind that question. The fear of time running out, of having already missed the window for recovery. But the truth has nothing to do with personal failure. It has nothing to do with weakness. Your supplements are not failing because your body is beyond repair. They are failing because your body has changed and the delivery mechanism has not changed with it. Even when synthetic zinc does partially dissolve, it exists in an unstable form that competes with other minerals in the digestive tract, reducing the absorption of each. That is why men can take zinc faithfully for months or even years and never register a measurable improvement in blood flow, energy, morning vitality, or sexual function. They are consuming hope in a form their biology has no way to use. And after enough failure, many men stop trying altogether. They accept decline as destiny when the reality is that they were simply given the wrong tool for the job. There is another path, one that works with your biology rather than against it, one that understands how the male system functions after 50 and delivers nutrients in the form nature designed them to be received. And the shift begins the moment you move from synthetic supplementation to whole food nutrition. 7 natural foods are far more effective than supplements. Most men don't arrive at this realization until they are standing in front of a mirror wondering when everything changed. When did energy become exhaustion? When did confidence become hesitation? When did morning stop bringing strength and start bringing disappointment? They look at the collection of bottles on the counter and ask themselves honestly why nothing is working. But here is the truth that fundamentally reframes everything most men have been taught to believe. The human body was not designed to thrive on synthetic pills. It was designed to thrive on real food. And your body is extraordinarily intelligent in this regard. It distinguishes between nutrients delivered in their original biological structure, wrapped in fats, enzymes, fiber, and co-actors, and nutrients manufactured in isolation and compressed into tablet form. When a nutrient arrives from a whole food source, the body recognizes it, trusts it, and absorbs it efficiently. When it arrives in synthetic form, stripped of its natural biological context, the body does not know how to process it optimally. It resists. That resistance is not failure. It is intelligent self-P protection. Think about the men who come to me after years of faithful supplementation, still feeling numb, still feeling disconnected from their own vitality, still wondering where the version of themselves they once knew has gone. They are not broken. They are not past the point of recovery. They were simply given the wrong tools and told to be patient. The biological distinction is clear and well supported by research. Cashews carry zinc inside healthy natural fats, making absorption immediate and efficient. Walnuts deliver omega-3 fatty acids and nitric oxide precursors directly into the bloodstream, repairing arterial walls from the inside. Pumpkin seeds provide phytosterols and magnesium in physiologically ideal ratios, reducing prostate inflammation and restoring bladder control. Supplements require the body to struggle. Real foods allow the body to function as it was originally designed. And when men understand this, truly understand it, something shifts beyond the physical. They stop blaming themselves. They stop feeling that decline is a reflection of their character or their worth. They begin to see that they are not losing strength. They are rediscovering it. Because when nutrients are delivered through whole foods, the body does more than improve. It rebuilds, it restores, it reawakens. And that change is not subtle. It is unmistakable. It is the moment a man looks in the mirror and recognizes himself again. 8. A 4-year study on 3,000 men proved that eating the right foods improved performance by 82%. A&D morning response by 91%. Most men would not believe that something this straightforward could produce results this significant. They have been conditioned to believe that meaningful improvement requires complexity, prescriptions, procedures, or medical intervention. But what if one of the largest studies ever conducted on male vitality proved the opposite? What if the research showed undeniably that the body is far more capable of self-rep than we have been led to believe, and that real transformation begins with simple, consistent choices made every night? For 4 years, researchers followed more than 3,000 men over the age of 50. Men struggling with weakening blood flow, restless sleep, collapsing confidence, and mornings that no longer brought the physical readiness they once had. Half of these men continued relying on supplements, hoping that pills would restore what time had taken. The other half made one fundamental change. They stopped chasing synthetic solutions and began using real foods, cashews, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds as their primary nutritional support. Nothing else changed. No medications, no hormone therapy, no procedures, just whole food replacing synthetic pills. The results were extraordinary. The group using natural foods experienced an 82% improvement in erection strength, not a marginal shift, a transformation. And 91% reported stronger morning erections, the clearest biological indicator of healthy circulation and stable hormone function. Sleep improved. Energy increased. Confidence returned. Men woke up feeling genuinely like themselves again, not diminished versions of who they once were. Meanwhile, the men relying on supplements reported almost no meaningful improvement. They continued waiting. They continued hoping, and they continued wondering why nothing was changing. This study did not just measure physical performance. It measured what happens when you give the male body what it was biologically designed to receive. It proved that the male body is not broken after 60. It is not beyond recovery. It is designed to rebuild itself when given the right inputs in the form nature intended. Many men who encountered these findings described a moment of quiet recognition, realizing that the strength they thought was gone was never permanently lost. It was waiting for the right biological conditions to return. You do not need 4 years to feel the shift. Many men report a difference within 24 hours. Some feel it after the very first night because once the body begins its nighttime repair cycle with the right nutritional support, the changes are impossible to ignore. 9 conclusion: at some point every man arrives at a crossroads. One direction is familiar and quiet. It is the path where he accepts decline as something fixed and inevitable, where he learns to endure discomfort, to hide disappointment, to tell himself that fading strength is simply the cost of growing older. He stops asking questions. He stops hoping. He stops believing that anything different is possible. Most men choose that direction, not because they want to, but because they believe they have no other option. They have been told implicitly and explicitly that their story has already been decided. But the other path is still open. The one where a man refuses to surrender the vitality that still belongs to him. The path where he chooses to rebuild instead of retreat. Where he applies what science has confirmed not in desperation, but in quiet, informed confidence. You have heard the physiological truth today. The failure of synthetic zinc supplementation in men over 50, the extraordinary biological potential of whole food nutrition, the restorative power within cashews, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds, and the research confirming what most men are never told, that the body remains capable of remarkable recovery when given what it genuinely needs. You now understand why performance declines, why circulation weakens, why mornings lose their vitality, and why sleep becomes fractured and unrestorative. And you understand what the body requires to begin reversing those changes. But knowledge alone produces nothing. Change requires action. Every man reading this understands exactly what is at stake. This is not only about physical performance. It is about dignity and identity. It is about the ability to look in the mirror and recognize the man looking back. It is about the difference between surviving and genuinely living. It is about waking up with purpose instead of resignation. It is about connection instead of distance. It is about feeling fully present in your own life, not trapped inside a body that refuses to cooperate. You deserve that. You deserve a life that feels strong, grounded, confident, and alive. And all it takes to begin is 5 minutes tonight. Not next week. Not when conditions feel right. Tonight, because your body has been waiting. It has been waiting for the right biological inputs at the right hour. It does not require perfection. It requires consistency. It requires one clear choice. Here is what I ask you to do. Take 7 walnuts, 15 to 18 cashews, and a generous handful of pumpkin seeds. Sit in the quiet of your bedroom and eat them slowly. Think about the man you were. Think about the man you still are. Think about the man you are capable of becoming. When the lights go out, your biology will begin its work. When the sun rises, you may feel something you have not felt in a long time. Possibility. Your story is not finished. It is simply waiting for you to write the next chapter. And now the move is yours.